War is more than hurt, coming in louder Right then, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship here for round number 8 of the 2020 Formula 1 World Championship here at the Mugello circuit for the second Tuscan Grand Prix. Formula 1 is back, ladies and gentlemen, after a 2 weeks hiatus. We are finally back with the main tier of the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship here in Italy. For the second race of the season in Italy. 12 minutes of the first stage of qualifying await us, and in the commentary booth today it is me, Miran, and joining me in the commentary booth once again it is Jamie. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Maran. The drivers here traveled 300 kilometers from the previous race in Monza here to Mugello here for the Tuscan Grand Prix here. This qualifying session here is set to be unlike any other before us. It is currently halfway through the race, actually, through the championship at the moment, and all the places are here to gain or to be lost here, and qualifying here will be very, very important here as we ride on board with Johansson.
Indeed. As we approach the midpoint of the championship, things will be heating up for a lot of the drivers, especially for this man we're on board with, Jesper Johansson. And as Johansson will make his way through the circuit, let us go through the track. So, the Mugello circuit, known as the Autodromo Internazionale del Mugello, is a racetrack located in Scarperia e San Piero, near the city of Florence in Italy. The track was opened in 1974, but the city of Scarperia saw racing all the way back in 1920 when there were public road races held around the streets surrounding Mugello. The road race was later closed down in the 70s due to safety concerns, and a permanent circuit was built in 1974 and has played host to many different racing series over the years. Most famously, the Italian Motorcycle Grand Prix in MotoGP, stuff like the 24-hour series, the World Sports Car Championship, and Formula 1 did come here, obviously, in real life in this very year, 2020, and it has used the track previously for testing occasions. This track, which has remained unchanged since its opening all the way back in 1974, is 5.245 kilometers long. It's 15 turns, and we should expect lap times about in the high 110s and the low 120s. And as the times are coming in, it is currently Jesper Johansson that is fastest at the moment as the times are now coming in on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very surprising to see Alexander Arnold here so early. Enes Parachki goes ahead with a provisional pole currently in the first qualifying session here. Both Mercedes here needs to be very important here because Jesper Johansson is so far the only one that's currently in the second half of the season that can really challenge Dennis Graf for the championship lead, really. And Mercedes would really looking to capitalize and retake first position from Red Bull Racing as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as Dennis Graf looks to have been held up on his lap. It's only a P7 for him at the moment, obviously Q1. Either way, it's not really going to matter much as long as you get a passable lap time in. But Graf is going to try and get past the racing point here as Labas Nishkai slots into 11th. So nicely done there from Dennis Graf. Wojtek Kulasek up into 4th. Nicely done from the man from the Czech Republic in the Renault. Renault currently 4th and 5th, so it's looking pretty good for them as we're awaiting one man across the line, and I'd say woman, as Emilia Konechina will be the final car across the line in P13. So all the first 20 times on the board then. Enes Parachki leads Alfred Klaus currently, and your bottom 5 is Josef Fredrik Schuto, followed by Daniel Wale, Jafari Blackwood, Giulia Cesetti, and Thomas Mandic. So Mandic doesn't seem to have fared too well right now as he is down in 16th.
Yeah, it's very surprising for the Racing Point driver to be so low. However, it is his first run. I reckon he'll be a bit faster. Coleman hit his second run now. He's currently in his second run now. He'll surely improve. He doesn't improve. Wow, he is actually struggling in the circuit. I thought he was held up on his first run. So that's very surprising for the Croatian.
Yeah, it is really interesting to see that Mandic really isn't improving, but there's still plenty of time to go in the session. So Mandic will have a lot of time as Lamas Osnishkai goes up into 11th. Both Ferraris looking safe into Q2 for the time being. You got Victor Albom there just on the edge of the elimination zone. Then you have Alexander Arnold, a very, very good 5th. Right now for Alpha Tauri, the man on his Formula 1 return 2 weeks ago, who was able to get into Q3 in the Alpha Tauri, which was a really, really good performance. And we'll see if Alex will be able to do it again as Fernando Tost does improve, and Luca Farina sets an improvement as well.
Rich Gage just completes a run here, which was slower. That he's having trouble with the Haas just in the inside line now.
Oh
We've
dear.
got retirement.
And that is Kai Chereznia, who has gone off at, that looks like Corentayo. But what has happened to Kai Chereznia, who is currently in 10th?
It's very
This,
weird to see a racing incident. Oh,
ooh. And I think something must have went on the car. That looks very, very strange. Maybe an error of some sorts. But yeah, I think that Chereznia ruled out of Q1 at least.
it's going to be very disappointing then for Racing Point, because if Mandage is still going to be struggling in this track, then Racing Point are not going to get the points that they'll do in favor for their midfield battle against Ferrari and McLaren for this round. Sutu once again does not improve. Quite a big deficit actually. Meanwhile, here we're looking at Luca Farina. Luca Farina is on the edge for P10 with Kai Tresnia out. It could be very good for the Italian home hero here.
Yeah, Luca Farina currently in 11th. Sorry for interrupting, but he's going to finish up his lap here. Let's see if he can improve. No improvement for him. Neither is it for Alexander Arnold behind, who's actually going to try and get past the Ferrari. Heading into turn 1, he's going to go around the outside. Let's see if he's going to be able to pull off the move. He runs a bit wide, though, and he cannot for the time being. And I think that has hampered both his and Farina's lap.
Yeah, it absolutely has. It's the first time as well we've seen a Formula 1 driver go onto the grass, but it surely won't be the last, as we've seen here in previous races in this week, especially in the Porsche Super Cup and the Formula 2 race here. Formula 2 was on Saturday, and the Porsche Super Cup was on... Sorry. Porsche Super Cup Thursday and the F2 on Friday.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see then how the F1 drivers will fare around the circuit. Last season, when we came here to Mugello for the first time, it would be, I believe it was Alfred Klaus who would take his first win of the season at this track, and it would be Jesper Johansson who'd start on pole, with Dennis Graf rounding out the podium. So if that is anything to go by, this could be a strong track for Red Bull, who have already been dominating quite a lot this season.
Yeah, as well, we can clearly see here that, well, it may not be the case, but we've seen this before as well with the times Red Bull always don't perform until the very last qualifying session, which then they put their utmost best. So you can expect to see maybe a potential double row Red Bull lockout actually for this race actually.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting to see, as let's see if Mandic can get himself out of the elimination zone. No, he cannot. And it's not looking good for Mandic. I don't know what's happening, but just doesn't seem to have the pace around here. And yeah, it's not nice to see.
No, it's incredibly shocking for a man of his talents as well, with 2 consecutive podiums to his name so far this season in a Racing Point as well. It's definitely not how he's going to fare for him to maintain his his very well valued 5th position in the standings as well. And to see the Croatia perform like this is disappointing. Dennis Graf improves and goes up to 4th.
And Johansson gets up in the 2nd as well. But yeah, it's going to be Mandic will have to step up his game. if he wants to challenge for that P5 position in the championship against the likes of McIntyre and the two Ferraris. But yeah, his teammate Kai Shreshny obviously coming off hot from his first podium in Formula One at the Italian Grand Prix. We'll see how he's going to be able to do here at Tuscany. It's going to be very, very interesting to see.
As well, we see Nielsen improves up and goes up to 12th, which is pretty impressive for the Scuderia AlphaTauri driver. But Alexander Arnold, I must say, standing there in 7th in just his first qualifying session here of the season, as well as a replacement for Samet Ochgan as well, is really impressive as well for the German driver.
I definitely think this could land Arnold a Formula One drive in 2021 if he is lucky enough, as Victor Album goes across the line and he goes up into P15 and currently gets himself out of the elimination zone. As we're now looking at Daniel Wale, the Chinese driver is just going to round the final corner. Let's see if he's going to be able to get himself out of the elimination zone. My mistake there. He's actually starting his lap here at Mugello. So yeah, that's my bad. But yeah, he's the only driver currently not in the pit lane in the elimination zone. So he realistically is the only man who can change anything down there.
Yep, so that means from P16 downwards, apart from Valle, will be eliminated from this session as well, which some unique some of the same name still there. Kulisic goes up to 5th as well, stays there. Nielsen is promoted up to 10th, which is pretty good for the Scuderia AlphaTauri driver. Shows strong signings heading into Q2 for sure.
Indeed, AlphaTauri have done really well here in what is their home constructor race in Italy, as Alfred Klaus goes up in second. Let's see if Victor Album can improve as he goes across the line. The man who is basically safe into Q2 at this point, unless Daniel Wale decides to improve. I think he's done quite well of himself on a few occasions this season.
As Parachke, he's coming off of his absolutely amazing Italian Grand Prix performance. He does not improve. So he's still like 2 thousandths faster than Alfred Klaus, actually. That's really close, actually.
Indeed. It's very, very close there up at the top, but obviously it's still Q1 as Daniel Wale unfortunately did not improve, and thus he will be knocked out of... Or no, he did improve. We missed that. Yeah, Daniel Wale has actually got himself through into Q2. So nice stuff there from Daniel Wale. Victor Album will be knocked out as Wojtek Kulisic comes to the pit lane. Q1 is done and dusted, and it is NS Prachke currently is fastest, and your bottom 5 is Victor Album, followed by Jafari Blackwood, Thomas Mandic, Giulia Cisetti, and Josef Frederick Schuto. So Thomas Mandic, once again, going to be the big talking point here. I believe he was knocked out at Spa, and unfortunately now has been knocked out in Q1 once again, which is a bit of a shame to see. But the pace just wasn't there for the Croatian.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by that because he doesn't have traffic to blame for, or the car, because the car has been pretty good so far this season. So it's really down to pace and his skill set around this track. Maybe just doesn't tailor him to as much as well. But this track is notoriously difficult to overtake as well, especially in Mugello. So for him to climb up into the top 10 and try and score some points will be very hard for him indeed.
Yeah, we'll see what he's going to be able to do then, down from P18. Both Haas's and both Williams cars not making it through, but both Alfa Romeos have made it into Q2 with Daniel Wale just doing just setting the P15 lap there at the end of the session, and Emilia Konishna going through as well. So nice stuff from the Alfa Romeo team to get into Q2. We'll see what they'll be able to do then in the second stage of qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel Valle's performance as well on that last lap finish as well to get into Q2 was really amazing. I don't think Victor Album was counting on him setting such a fast lap, so maybe that's why it was particularly slow.
Yeah, we'll see though what is going to happen then as we are here for Q2. Wojtek Kurasek is going to be the first man out. Obviously, last season he would finish. I think he finished outside of the points here. So obviously, the man who was P13 last season will be wanting to change that here. Obviously, with Renault looking really good this season.
Yeah, and they look really strong in this track as well. I think both Renaults got into nearly into the top fives, even only just been outperformed by the Red Bulls and the Mercedes as well. So this could be very strong showings for Kulisic and Gamba as well to help improve their team's points finish as well. And if this qualifying session can be reflected through in the race as well, I think we expect to see both drivers to perform very well here.
Indeed, Renault, obviously coming off the Italian Grand Prix, performed really well, double points for both of their drivers, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do it again. But let's go on board with Wojtek Kurasek for a flying lap of the Mugello circuit. So across the line then to start the lap, heading down the start-finish straight and into the first braking zone and the first corner, turn number 1, San Donato, the left-hander with a bit of incline, and then through the first chicane, left-hander of Luco, and then Poggio Secco, turn number 3, down this little straightaway into Materassi and Borgo San Lorenzo, turns number 4 and 5, a bit of a faster chicane compared to turns 2 and 3, and now the track goes downhill as you head into Casanova and Savelli, very fast in these cars, and then through the 2 fastest corners on this track, Arrabbiata 1 and then Arrabbiata 2. Really fast corners, especially the second one there. You can see how fast Kurasek was taking it. Then through Scarperia and Palagio, turns 10 and 11. And then to Correntaio, Ceresnia went off here in Q1, locked the brakes and went off. And now through the second high-speed chicane, Biondetti 1 and Biondetti 2. And then just a charge down into the final corner, turn number 15. The swooping left-hander of Buccine, and then just try and get the best exit possible on the curb down the outside and charging down the start-finish straight to finish up a lap of the Mugello circuit, and it is going to be a 1:22.474 for Wojtek Kurasek, and that's a lap of the Mugello circuit.
Alexander Arnold outperforms them with a 1:22.421.
Yeah, Alex Arnold is looking really good in qualifying right now, as Kurasek will be in second. Franco Gamba, though, goes a hell of a lot faster than his teammate. That is a 1:21.8. He's gone 6/10 faster than his teammate Kurasek, and he is only he's less than a tenth of Dennis Graf, and he's actually beaten Jesper Johansson.
Yeah, that's really amazing there. I'm pretty shocked from Johansson's pretty slow time, actually, to be considered in comparison to the other Red Bull and Mercedes teammate as well, Farichke as well. Ceresnia goes 6th as well, so he's going to be safe, I think, into Q3. By that rate, McIntyre, he's so far the only one that I think that could displace Mandich for the midfield battle, or at least make up to it as well. And a 5th is really impressive from him. But Nielsen, wow, 6th.
Yeah, nicely done from Emil Nilsson so far. But we have the 2 Ferraris and Wale who haven't set their lap times yet. So we're going to wait for those 3 to finish up their laps, and then we could get a brief understanding of how everything is looking. Obviously, Gamba then 3rd. Italian fans will be quite happy about that, considering this is his 2nd home race, as Emilia Konechina is already into the pit lane after her lap. Fernando Tost goes faster, but can't match his teammate Lewis McIntyre, who is outside of the elimination zones so far.
Yeah, you can see well in the teams here who's doing well and who's kind of struggling a bit. Kulisic is not actually doing very well. Luca Farina down in 14th. That's going to be a very disappointing for the Scuderia Ferrari team.
Indeed, it's not looking very good for them at the moment. Lamazas Nishkai has only mustered up 13th with Luca Farina in 14th. Alfred Klaus is currently down in 9th, so yeah, I don't really know what's happening. Lewis McIntyre improves, and your top 15 currently with Enis Parachki on pole position. Yeah, your bottom 5 is Tost, Konechina, Zasnishka, Farina, and Wale. So that is actually quite interesting. The two Ferraris may not make it into Q3, and the two Alpha Tauris right now are in Q3, which is really interesting.
Comfortably as well, really comfortably as well, upper into the nearly the grips of the top five as Alexander Arnold once again improves and goes sixth and displaces his teammate Nilsson.
Yeah, nicely done from Arnold then. Already putting out the challenge with his teammate. There's Laban Zasnishkai going wheel to wheel with Jesper Johansson through Puccine. The two are going to go side by side, but Zasnishkai is going to lose time on this lap, obviously. So will Jesper, who currently is in fourth. As Luca Farina crosses the line, no improvement for him. Daniel Wala does improve, though he stays in 15th as Laban Zasnishkai still trying to get ahead Johansson. Yeah, he runs a bit wide, Johansson, and Zasnishkai is going to try to get past him. Nice little battle here, but Johansson in the far quicker Mercedes will be able to get ahead.
Absolutely not ideal to be battling for qualifying position, especially when you're down in the elimination zone for Q2 as well. It's not going to be very good for Sinitsky and for Rina as well behind them, who's going to be suffering as well from that battle as well.
Indeed. Ferrari, I don't think, have done too well with releasing their cars. They've been in a bit of traffic, and they're also very close to each other. So I think maybe they were expecting Farina to try and take the slipstream of Zasnishkai, but right now it's not looking too good for them, which is a bit of a shame, considering this is their home race as well. Alexander Arnold then up into 7th, or I should say stays in 7th, considering he did improve, as we're now looking at Laban Zasnishkai rounding the final corner. Might get a nice little tow from Jesper Johansson there up ahead, so let's see if any of these two Scarlet Red Ferraris can improve.
Now look at that, 2 seconds a problem just from fighting with Jesper Johansson, so that's going to make a blow for Sinitsky. But if they use the tow for Johansson for this final lap, maybe they might be able to gain some positions as well. Pulisic, the Renault driver, is a bit of in trouble being near in the knockout zone for Renault. Considering their qualifying 1 performances, it's pretty surprising to see Pulisic down there.
Yeah, Kulasek is quite on the edge there, but so far it has been a relatively quiet Q2 session. We haven't seen any major improvements, apart from the Alpha Tauris, and then Farina and Wale got it in, but they weren't able to get up any position, so a lot of minute improvements, but no one's been able to lift themselves out of the elimination zone so far, and that could spell trouble for a few drivers, mainly the Ferraris and Fernando Tost in the McLaren.
Yeah, Kulisic doesn't improve as well. He's 2 tenths slower than his optimal time for Q2 so far this session here. And Tost, if he does improve as much as his teammate does in McIntyre, I mean McIntyre's up into the top 5, so it shows that that car is capable of getting into Q3 now. So it's just a matter of how soon can Tost push that car in to get that car into Q3, and it might be a good one. We'll see.
Indeed, as Jesper Johansson improves into 2nd, basically just testing the waters here, considering these lap times don't really matter a lot for the top guys. But currently a Mercedes 1-2 with Dennis Graf in 3rd and the other Red Wolf Klaus currently in 6th. Jesper Johansson obviously will be wanting, I'd say he's probably accepting nothing less than a win here at Mugello, especially considering the disappointment that was Monza, where he qualified quite badly and made up a few positions in the race, but it wasn't enough, especially compared to Dennis Graf, who'd go on to finish 2nd. So Jesper is gonna need to, I'd say, win this if he wants a chance of sticking with Graf here.
Yeah, absolutely as well. And as well for Perchke as well, who did an amazing qualifying session as well, which made his teammate look almost like an exact rookie as well. Qualifying session is over now, the checker flag has dropped. So these lap times here that these drivers are going to finish are in final. Jesper Johansson now is going to come off turn 15 now. We'll see if there's going to be any major improvements of it. It's going to set the bounds of it. No, he's going to head into the pits. But he'll safely be into qualifying 3. The Ferrari is not actually going to set the fast lap.
Yeah, and Daniel Walla just crossed the line. He's not improving, and that means the elimination zone has been set in stone, and none of those guys, all those guys are confirmed out. So we're just waiting for a few of the guys across the line. Franco Gamba goes across the line, does not improve. What about the man who currently is fastest, Enes Parachki? He does not improve. Daniel Walla is just driving around. He's already finished. And yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. That's Q2 done and dusted. Enes Parachki is fastest, and your bottom five is Wojtek Kulasek, followed by Emilia Konishina, Laban Zasnitsky, Luca Farina, and Daniel Wale. So then, I'd say most interesting thing is the two Ferraris. It's a big shame for them, especially here at Tuscany, considering that they will not be getting into Q3. Uh, didn't look like. I mean, I don't know what it was, but they just didn't have the pace out there.
No, I completely agree with you. It's really shocking to see the Italian team being outperformed by another minor Italian team, especially in Scuderia AlphaTauri. To see Sanishki and Farina trying to do all they can to try and get that Q3 place and to not succeed is going to be very disappointing for both drivers indeed. And if this is the case that we're going to see in the race, then we could be seeing their first non-point finish this season.
Indeed. It's gonna be we're gonna have to see what they will be able to do in the race. But honorable mention to Emilia Konishina, 12th is still pretty interesting, or I'd say impressive, in the Alfa Romeo, considering that car hasn't been as quick as it was last season. So nicely done from Konishina, and Kulasek not being able to get into Q3 could be big. Obviously not as bad as Mandic, who got knocked out in Q1. And yeah, that'll be a big talking point, obviously, considering the absolutely monumental fight we have for third in the Constructors' Championship between McLaren, Ferrari, and Racing Point, where McLaren are third on 77 points, and Ferrari and Racing Point are tied in fourth on 76 points. So that's absolutely crazy to see how close that is, and I think every little position for those three teams is going to matter here today at Tuscany.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you as well. So McLaren and Racing Point now are probably going to be more favorably because they've got cars that are into Q3. But Scuderia Ferrari that don't have a car into Q3 is really vital, especially track like Mugello, where the on-track position that you are when you start is going to be very vital. How this race is going to span out as well. We've seen it before. They split off into grips. It's very hard to overtake in this track. There's like two viable overtaking opportunities as long as a driver doesn't make a mistake and cause a domino effect. And therefore, we see that qualifying position is very important here for this race.
Indeed. It is going to be quite crucial to have a good qualifying position, especially for this man, Jesper Johansson, who has qualified on pole here last year and currently is the only pole sitter at this track, and he'll be wanting to make sure that the record stays by securing pole position. But we have seen in the past this season that Johansson usually does crumble a bit heading into Q3, which is quite unlike him, considering previous seasons and his qualifying record there. But yeah, we'll see what Jesper is going to be able to do in qualifying. He's obviously, I'd say he's hoping for the best, but this Q3 session is where the sandbags will come off for Mercedes and Red Bull.
Yeah, as well, Mercedes is currently on a double pole position streak as well. Jesper Johansson has got a pole position in the Belgium Grand Prix, and as Parachki, as we remember before, put on a blister of a lap in the Italian Grand Prix with one of probably the best qualifying performances we've seen in ACOC F1 history. And we're hoping to see if they can continue that streak because, as we've said before here, position is important here in Mugello.
Indeed, as Johansson will cross the line and to set the banker lap. It's a 1:21.346 for Jesper Johansson. That is a pretty good lap time from the Swede. Looked very quick, and let's see if it will. Let's see if it will stay like that. Enes Parachki goes about under a tenth of his world champion teammate. But the big question is then, where will the Red Bulls end up, as the times are gonna come in on the board very shortly.
Yeah, we've seen before as well, throughout the entire half of this season, actually, that Red Bulls tend to sandbag excessively for the first two qualifying sessions, and then on the third qualifying session, they just absolutely massively perform. Kai Tresnio can be very proud of that 121.936. That's pretty good for the Racing Point driver.
Yeah, Cherezny has been having a quite good run of form recently. I would say, especially at the Belgian Grand Prix the Italian Grand Prix with his podium, not the Belgian Grand Prix. He unfortunately retired from that one. But Dennis Groff, look at this, Jamie, is behind the Mercedes.
Yeah, as well. 4 tenths as well. Difference between Graf and the next Mercedes driver of Barachki as well. That's kind of a big surprise as well. For Tost is actually in fifth. Is actually quite slow as well. About 2 tenths slower than Kai Tresnia.
Indeed, Tost with a 1:22.195. Emil Nilsson, currently the slowest man out there, as Alfred Klaus goes ahead of his teammate Dennis Groff, but not ahead of the two Mercedes. It's looking very, very
Franco
interesting.
Gamba, wow.
Wow, yeah, you're right. Look at Gamba. And I think the Italian fans will be very, very pleased with that, as Franco Gamba has pulled out a very, very good lap in fourth. Lewis McIntyre up into eighth, as Alexander Arnold is ninth, and that's the first 10 times on the board then. We got about just under 3 minutes remaining, so this is going to be very, very interesting to see how it's going to play out. As Dennis Groff is going to cross the line. Where can he go? As he's going to go across the line, up into fourth and ahead of Franco Gamba, making it a Red Bull 3-4 once again.
Yeah, as well. That was very surprising there from Gamba as well, to displace between the two Red Bull drivers as well. This could be a very exciting of things to come regarding how strong that Red Bull car is. We've never seen a Red Bull car this strong through the season that could actually maybe challenge for a top three if one of the drivers makes a mistake.
Indeed, as this could be a bit interesting. You have, I think that is Jesper Johansson, who is stuck behind Franco Gamba. So I think he might be impairing his lap here. Ooh, Johansson had a look on the inside line there. They make a bit of contact even, as Johansson is going to slip past, but I think it has ruined both of their laps, as Enis Parachki improves, but it's no pole for him. Look at that, it's a 1:21.373. He's 300ths off his teammate.
Yeah, whenever Johansson really performs in a qualifying session here, there's no one that is as good as a qualifier as Jesper Johansson is. There's a reason why he has got so many pole positions for his entire Formula 1 career, and I think this could be his for the taking.
Indeed, when it is a good day for Jesper Johansson, there is nobody else like him, as Alexander Arnold has gone up into seventh. Really well, I have to say, a really wonderful performance from Alexander Arnold in the Alpha Tower. He's really out dragging that car into positions it shouldn't be in, but yeah, he's done a fantastic performance so far. Lewis McIntyre then, who last season here was driving for the then Toro Rosso team, scored a very brilliant P8 at this track. He made a lot of stellar overtakes and got himself awarded driver of the day as a result. But then Jamie, I would like you to take a look at the timing sheet on the left. With 30 seconds to go, all of the front runners are in except Jesper Johansson.
Yeah, with 20 seconds to go, nobody is actually going to try to improve Jesper Johansson's time. That's very surprising. We haven't really seen that before in this season.
Yeah, we really haven't. We really haven't. Red Bull have just given up. I don't know what's happened, but Red Bull have pulled in their cars. They don't think they can improve more, most likely. And that is going to award Jesper Johansson the pole position. The question is now if any of these midfield guys will be able to improve. Chereznia, I think, just got another lap in. Let's see Fernando Tostan, as he's going to be the first man across the line, as he is going to go across the line now, heading down the start-finish straight. Can Tost improve? Yes, he
He
does.
does.
And up to 7th. That's a good lap.
Oh, wow. It's an identical time to Alexander Arnold.
Yeah, and yeah, that's very, very nice. But I think Arnold will be starting 7th, obviously, considering he set the time first. Emil
Yeah.
Nilsson will not improve as he will stay 10th. Still a very respectable effort from the Estonian as Jesper Johansson is gonna go across the line then. Um, really just nothing more left for him to do as
Alexander Arnold.
yeah, his former teammate in the Alpha Tauri will cross the line. No improvement for Arnold. He will stay in 7th. And then Kai Shreshnia is going to be the final man across the line. And he will be a very good P6. I think Kai will be very pleased with that in 6th.
Yeah, I agree. He's done very well to help his team, especially with Mandic's early exit
And
into qualifying one. It's going to be the breathing room that Racing Point needs for this midfield battle.
indeed, but it is going to be Jesper Johansson on pole position for the Tuscan Grand Prix. Now, it is, I think Johansson, he got very lucky here. Mercedes look very strong around this track compared to Red Bull, obviously. And Johansson, I'd say, pulled out a very, very good lap. And with Parachki in 2nd, which could be a bit of breathing room for the world champion to the 2 Red Bulls of Klaus and Graf, things could be on the rise for Mercedes here.
Yeah, I agree. It's also really impressive. It's really amazing to see as well. Dennis Graf, the championship leader, down in 4th as well. He's the last of the front runners as well for this qualifying here, for the race here today. So that will be a big part to play as well, given as well position has a lot to play as well. But down behind him, Franco Gamba in the Renault in 5th. That will be absolutely amazing for the Renault team. And if he can translate that performance in qualifying into some points for the race, it'll maybe allow them to be in the lead of charge for the midfield battle for P3 in the constructors.
Yeah, and the Tifosi will be absolutely delighted with that as well. Gamba in P5. He's had a lot of good qualifying performances this season, and it's really, really nice to see, especially after his troubled stint at McLaren. It's great to see that Franco is finally bouncing back, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting because you've got a Renault in 5th, a Racing Point in 6th, and a McLaren in 7th. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how those guys in the midfield will along, and especially Arnold in the Alpha Tauri there in 8th. It's gonna be interesting. We've got a very, very lively midfield, I have to say.
Yeah, and don't forget the ones outside the top 10 as well. Both Ferraris are in 13th and 14th, respectively. And you got Thomas Mandic, who's been the driver of the season so far in terms of performances, outperforming the car, down in 18th as well. So this will definitely be a race not to miss.
Indeed, it's gonna be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. We've got Lewis McIntyre in 9th there as well. But enough about that. Let's go down to the grid and let's go through the grid before lights out for the Tuscan Grand Prix. And it is for a second time this season. It is Jesper Johansson on pole position at the Tuscan Grand Prix. Once again, keeps his 100% pole record at this track, and accompanying him on the front row it is his teammate Enis Parachki in 2nd. It's a Red Bull 3-4 as Alfred Klaus in 3rd leads Dennis Graf in 4th, and then you have Franco Gamba, brilliant P5 with Kai Chereznia in P6. Then you have Alexander Arnold in 7th with the 2 McLarens of Fernando Tost and Lewis McIntyre P8 and P9 with Emil Nilsson rounding out the top 10.
Kulisic for the Renault driver will be 11th. Despite his strong qualifying performances, he's outside the top 10, followed by Koznicnia in the 12th. Very impressive there for the Alfa Romeo driver. Then in the 13 and 14 is the 2 Ferrari drivers of Sesnicki and Farina. Farina is going to be very disappointed with that one as well. And Daniel Valle, the Asian driver, is in 15th for Alfa Romeo. Behind them, Victor Album and Jafari Blackwood, both Haas drivers, they're 16th and 17th respectively. Well, behind them, Thomas Mandic, the Croatian driver, will be very disappointed for an 18th position start there. And then followed behind him in the last row is Giulilia Sassetti in 19th, and Sutu, the Slovenian, will be in 20th.
Yes, so let's go down to the grid then for the Tuscan Grand Prix. Jesper Johansson is on pole position. What can he do today as we have 6 lights here at Tuscany? And we are underway for the Tuscan Grand Prix. Start for Jesper Johansson, but what a lightning start for the Rebel behind. I think that is Dennis Groff already up at the second. He's going to challenge Jesper Johansson heading in. I cannot believe it. He's already there on the inside as they head through turn 1. Johansson runs wide. Groff is going to try to take the advantage, but he's been compromised as Perazzi is going to try to bite back there and try and retake the second place. But he crumbled at the start as the other Red Bull's going to attack him here. Alfred Klaus is going to go round the outside of Enes Perazzi and through Borgo San Lorenzo they will go. Klaus is ahead and here comes Franco Gamba as well. He can't do it and he's got quite a poor exit. Here's Kai Chereznia who's trying to get past as well.
That is very disappointing there for Enes Perazzi as well. He's lost 2 positions in a matter of half a lap as well. That was such a crumble there. I wouldn't expect a Mercedes driver to crumble that much. Meanwhile, having Nilsson challenging Alexander Arnold as well. Oh, he slips and contact.
Yeah, contact between the two as Arnold's going to be ahead, and that's Jafari Blackwood. And Blackwood spun, and no, it's Fernando Tost, and
dear.
Dangerous rejoin by Fernando Tost, but he's been spun round into Buccina. Let's see what happened to Blackwood first. And he's gone into the gravel and he spun the car around. Massive shame. And then here's what happened to Fernando Tost. Same story. Went a bit too wide and then on exit. Bam! Straight into the Williams. And that is not very nice from Fernando Tost. But he's going to have major damage to that McLaren. And that is not what they need. So far, both now there's only one McLaren in the points, but Alfred Klaus looking very, very strong right now as Dennis Groff has a 1.5 second gap deficit to Jesper Johansson, who's absolutely pulled away for the race lead here.
Yeah, Dennis Groff as well, very impressive there to get up to 4. There goes Lenny Nielsen, he's going to make a move, and Alexander Armour now is going to take down the inside line. McIntyre and Sarashny are going to go for a fight. McIntyre gets up into 6th and displaces Engineer for that's going to be very important for the midfield battle there. Emmy Nielsen overtakes Alexander Arnold with ease for 8th.
Yeah, and the battle is not over. Here comes Emilia Konechina, who's going to be there on the inside line of Alexander. Absolutely nowhere comes the Alfa Romeo driver, but she can't get past. She's still going to try the move, as Zasniczka was trying it on the Polish driver.
Oh, no.
But there's contact, and Emilia Konechina forced a bit wide there, and Zasniczka taking no prisoners as he gets himself into the points. There's Kulasek running wide as Victor Album gets past. Giulia Cisetti is now behind as well. It's all gone wrong for Wojtek Kulasek here, and it's a really hectic race start.
Started in 11th and down to 16th as well. That's very disappointing from there. That must be a driver error of some kind if he's gone that wide in that corner.
Yeah, Laban Zasniczka then is going to be hunting down Alexander Arnold. Emilia Konechina won't be too happy with the Serbian. Who has overtaken her in quite a aggressive manner. But now we're going to see Alfred Klaus then, who's going to try to get past his teammate Jesper Johansson. Sets the fast lap of the race. The Swede clearly on it as Klaus is going to go to the outside line. Groff shuts the door on the outside though. Klaus goes to the inside. Yeah, bit deep for Dennis Groff. Klaus is going to try to get ahead. He doesn't run wide though, keeps the car steady through turns 2 and 3, and Alfred Klaus is ahead of Dennis Groff. No, he doesn't get the best of exits. Dennis is going to try to bounce back, but no, he isn't close enough, and Klaus is now in second and in free air to hunt down Jesper Johansson for the race lead.
Yeah, that's very shocking there for, I think that was Graf behind him. Graf did very good car control to maintain that car. Unfortunately, had to concede the position to Klaus because of that now, and now he's going to be under pressure from Peruchki.
Yeah, things are not looking very good for Dennis Groff. Red Bull, at this stage of the race, are going to most likely have to rely on Alfred Klaus to hunt down Jesper Johansson and stop him to get the race win. And Klaus, we know he's fast around this track. He's done it once last season. He can do it again if he wants to. As Franco Gamba is now in this battle for P3 as well, so that's very interesting.
Indeed, this lap I think the DRS will be enabled now, so we're going to see a lot of DRS overtakes here on this main straight here. This is where the drivers have the best chance of overtaking their positions here, and now we're going to see the example with Pericki going to go on Dennis Graf now. He's going to make it so easy now, and he's going to gain the position and the inside line down into turn 1, and Pericki takes third.
Yeah, nice stuff from Ennis bouncing back as Nilsson and Cherezhnia. The Estonian round the outside, but it goes on the grass, and thus Cherezhnia will succeed with the move. There's Tomas Mandic up into 13th. He has gotten up a few positions, but Daniel Wala is still going to try and hang on to the position as they head through Poggio Secco. Mandic with the much better exit is going to get ahead of Daniel Wala heading into turn 4.
Yeah, amazing there from Mandic as well. He's started at 18th now. He's moved up all the way up to 13th as well. That's a really impressive in a number of 4 laps as well. We could see him actually challenge for the points, actually.
Yeah, we'll see if Mandic can bounce back here. Obviously, McLaren will only have 1 car in a point, so if Mandic does make sure that both racing points are in the top 10, they could potentially take third in the championship today.
Yeah, absolutely as well. We're right on board with Gamba now. Gamba is actually still trailing behind the Red Bull of Dennis Graf. This is kind of going bad to worse for the German as well. He's not had the best of starts. He had a good start actually, but he kind of crumbled a bit under the overtake of Pericki and Klaus.
Yeah, we'll see what he's going to be able to do. And look at this. Ennis Parachki has the fastest lap of the race. That's a shocker considering his poor start. But he is all over the back of Alfred Klaus. Was actually having a look there on the inside line. Someone who is having a look on the inside is Emil Nilsson on Kai Cherezhnia. Into turn 3 he goes. And Nilsson once again proves his excellence as he goes up into 7th. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely amazing performance there for Emil Nilsson. Now he'll be proud of 7th, and I think he'll try and get McIntyre in his books now next, and he's actually very close to him, so it'll rather be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this will go as Franco Gamba closing in on Dennis Graf through the 2 Arrabbiatas. I don't know what's happening to Dennis Graf. He just has no pace in that Red Bull. He might just be backing off to try and save tires, but right now it's not looking good for him. It's yeah, it's just, I don't know what's happened.
Even if he is conservative, we haven't seen him be so conservative throughout this entire stage of the season, and it's surely going to pay. It's certainly going to hinder him sooner or later, because Gamba is actually really fast, and I think he'll try and gain the position here for the straight now. He might be close enough now to make the move on Dennis Graf, I reckon.
Not so sure of it, but we will see as Ennis Parachki is now in the hunt for Alfred Klaus as he's going to try to make it a Mercedes 1-2 again. Is he close enough? He goes to the inside line heading in. It's going to be Parachki versus Klaus as he's going to be there on the inside line. Alfred runs a bit wide though. Will that see Parachki trying to go for the opening? No, as McIntyre runs wide. Nilsson is up into 6th. Bravo, Emil.
Oh god, shades of Malaysia here with Nilsson's performance now. Maybe there might be a chance for him getting up into 4th, maybe. Who would have thought?
Indeed, I have to say Nilsson by the race just keeps improving, and it's so fantastic to see his driving as he had tossed there for in 19th, chasing down Josef Frederick Schuto, whom he collided with, obviously. Which has built him a quite sizable gap. And Nilsson is already in P6 here, and he's immediately on the back of Franco Gamba.
I thought Gamba's chance to get into P4, but no, we might be looking at the wrong driver now. We might be looking at Emil Nilsson as well. He's done really good now, having started 9th, I think it was, and moved all the way up into 6th as well. These are not tough. These are quite tough opponents to overtake as well, and he's done it with ease.
Indeed, it's quite spectacular how he does it, but we're going to witness another potential overtake here as Ennis Parachki is going to go to the inside of Alfred Klaus. Never mind, Alfred looks the inside. Smart move from the Red Bull as that's going to force Parachki to the outside, heading in turn number 1. He's just momentarily ahead, heading through San Donato, but does he run wide? No, but he's going to have to correct it a bit, and that's going to allow Klaus to get the better exit through Poggio Secco. It is going to be Alfred Klaus who does defend. Nice battle between the two.
That's very good as well. We see here in a backfield battle as well. Album tries to make the move on Vala as well, and he makes it work. Very impressive there from the Haas driver.
Yeah, Victor Albom and Daniel Waller having a bit of a scrap there for P15, as Waller might not be done with the Dane though, as he is chasing him down, then heading out of Borgo San Lorenzo. We're gonna see if he's gonna be able to do it. Here's Alexander Arnold then. His teammate got past Kai Sherezny a few laps ago, and he would much like to do the same. So we're going to see what Arnold is going to be able to do. But there is a massive train right now. It's stretching all the way down to Luca Farina in 12th.
Indeed, as well. I think it might be the problem of Dennis Graf's performance. He's not actually closing up to the top 3 position. Well, you can see in the background as well just how excessive that train is as well. Nearly covers a whole entire sector, to be honest with you. Horichki, Klaus, now here we go for the 3rd round this time now. I think he might be closer this time. I think he might actually work. If he keeps it on the inside line, he might actually work. Yeah, he goes out and dummies Klaus now, and he's going to down the inside line now. That's a beautiful overtake now. Is it going to stick, I wonder?
Klaus runs a bit wide. That's going to allow Parachi to try and hang it on the outside line. And heading into Poggio Secco, he's going to have the inside. Klaus though uses all the track available to him, and he gets the best exit possible, and thus he does stay ahead. Brilliant bit of defending from Alfred Klaus, and just an overall really good battle between the two. As Emilia Konechina has gotten past Lamos Zasnitsky for 10th.
That was really amazing there for Konechina as well. He's displaced both of the two Ferrari drivers as well. She'll be very proud with that performance.
Yeah, really nicely done from Emilia Konechina, who is looking to score another point. Obviously, as Victor Albom is having a look on the inside of Daniel Wall. Nothing coming out of that, though, and Albom has not had the greatest of runs. That could invite Giulia Cisetti to try and make a move for 16th. As we look at Enes Parachki once again, who's trying to overtake Alfred Klaus. Klaus was a 4-second gap to Jesper Johansson. It's only lap 8.
4 seconds as well. That's half a second gained a lap as well. That was really impressive there from Johansson as well. Parachki, I think, might be the only one with similar pace that can maybe challenge Johansson for it. But given the Mercedes teammate and the position that they are now in the standings as well, I don't think it'll be ideal for Parachki to go ahead and try and overtake his teammate for the lead at the moment now. I think his main goal now is to try and take 2nd place from Klaus now. Is he going to do it? He takes the inside line through turn 1. It's a bit too wide now. He takes the grass again, but I think Klaus will just hold on to it.
Ooh, and yeah, there was Emil Nilsson who tried it on Gamba on the outside line. That didn't work for the Estonian. So yeah, Franco putting up a lot of resistance against the quick Estonian, as there is Giulia Cisetti around the outside of Victor Albom, and Cisetti gets the move done. Nice stuff from the Italian, but it's not over yet, as Victor Albom is gonna go around the outside of the Williams driver. The two are gonna go side by side. Albom's gonna hang it on the inside line. Can he make the move stick? Cisetti is gonna come back. Albom leaves the space, heading into Casanova. It's very close, but Cisetti's round, and she's into the wall. Big accident for Giulia Cisetti, and I think she's out of the Tuscan Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's what happens when you collide through that corner as well, especially being downhill as well. It's not very easy to control that car as well. And I think Cisetti learned that the hard way, unfortunately. It's very disappointing for the Williams driver as she retires.
And that's going to be, unfortunately, the 4th retirement of her season for Giulia Cisetti. And yeah, she is out of the Tuscan Grand Prix. And that's the 2nd DNF that we've had. But we're going to look up to the field once again. Enes Parachki is going to dive down the inside of Alfred Klaus. Is Klaus going to put up another great defensive work as we head through turn 2, and Parachki can't do it?
That was a clean save right there. I think that was Nielsen trying to make a move on Gamba, but Kulisic is trying to make the move on Mandic as well. And I think Mandic will go just a little bit wide, but just keeps ahead of the car in front to maintain 13th.
Yeah, so Mandic, who is struggling on pace, it looks like. He's currently in 13th and 3.8 seconds off Luca Farina in 12th. So things aren't looking very good for Mandic at the moment, which is a shame. But yeah, we'll see what is going to happen, as you had Fernando Tost there, who's stuck behind Joser Frederic Schuto. But yeah, right now you've got Parachki, who is still trying to find his way past Alfred Klaus. Klaus, though, wearing him out at quite a fast rate. The gap just seems to increase and increase as the laps go by. Yeah,
absolutely as well. It's slowly decreased, actually, from the first few laps that we've had now. but it's nonetheless still big as well. And I think Peruchki is just doing his best to keep Klaus company to try and not make him gain as much to Johansson as he can as well. Here we go now. I think this is the sixth attempt now that Peruchki is going to have the move on Klaus now.
Yeah, he's going to go on the inside line. I don't think he's close enough this time, though, as they're there on the inside line. And yet Klaus holds it around the outside. But there is Nilsson going the long way round of Franco Gamba. He's there on the inside line. Can he pull it off? I don't think he can for the time being. Think he's got... Yeah?
That was a really good attempt as well. There's Alexander Arnold trying to make the move in Kai Brezhnev. Brezhnev will have the inside line for that turn, and then he will stick it.
I don't think he has. Here comes Emilia Konechina, though, on the inside line to Casanova. That could be a bit dangerous. No, what's happened? And Konechina's into the wall. And it's another accident as Casanova and Konechina is out. I think she's out of the Tuscan Grand Prix.
That was such a big impact. That was almost as bad. That was even worse than Sassetti's, I'd reckon, as well. That was really disappointing for the Polish driver as well. She was doing really well, outperformed both Ferrari drivers, and I think that's a spin.
Oh, that's Graf! And Dennis Graf is off at Correntino. He's stuck in the gravel. He's out of the Tuscan Grand Prix. I cannot believe it. It's an absolute... It's a disaster for Red Bull at Tuscany. Johansson will most likely take the V1 as Dennis Graf will come home with 0 points.
And Emery Nielsen now is going to try and make the move on Gamba for P4 again. Shades of Malaysia here. He's going to try and take the inside line. He doesn't prematurely, and he takes fourth.
What a performance from Emil Nilsson up into fourth for the Estonian in the Alpha Tauri, making the home fans proud. But Dennis Graf, I cannot believe it. It's like Jesper Johansson's accident at Barcelona. It's happened to Graf.
Yeah, it's such weird as well because this time he was under pressure from multiple cars behind him instead of Jesper Johansson with just one, and he's just collapsed, and he's just fallen out in the corner. The same corner where Kai Brezhnev retired actually in qualifying 1.
Yeah, I cannot believe it. Did the car just go, or did he lock up, or is there something on there? I wonder if we could get a replay of what happened to Graf. I don't think there was any contact, but yeah, because we didn't get to see the accident. We only saw the aftermath of it, really.
Yeah, because it was focused on Gamba, and then and then we saw off camera as well. I think I did see his tires lock up a bit before that he spun off though. But that is really weird, cause especially for a championship leader as well.
Yeah, it is absolutely just... It is heart-wrenching for Dennis Graf.
And Ferrari as well is going to go for the outside line now. He's going to make it work. I think he's way ahead of Alpha Klaus now, and he does it. He makes it a Mercedes 1-2, and that's the best position that Mercedes can ask for at the moment, especially when Dennis Graf is not going to score any points. This will allow for Jesper Johansson now to get some vital points to climb back up.
Yeah, Lewis McIntyre was able to get into 5th ahead of Franco Gamba. As they're battling away for 11th, it's Kulasek and Mandic, the two former teammates, as Wojtek Kulasek has gotten past Mandic, it looks like. But yeah, this is, I'd say, the best possible outcome for Mercedes right now. Johansson is leading by 4.5 seconds from Enes Parachki. They're going to come home with 44 points in the bag, while Mercedes will, at the best, right now only end up with 15. This is a massive development in the championship.
This is the best race that Mercedes can ask for now. If the positions stay like this till the end of the race now, then the championship race for both the drivers and the constructors will surely be on coming into the second half of this season.
Yeah, it is gonna be absolutely insane to see what's gonna happen. But the battle's still carrying on. The two Ferraris have now got themselves into the points amidst all this chaos, and Luca Farina is not done. He's gonna go on his teammate Laban Zasnishkai as the two prancing horses will go wheel to wheel into turn 1. I think he's gotten done before the quarter though. Laban's gonna be there on the outside line, very close between the two, but Zasnishkai runs wide, and thus Luca Farina will be able to get past. There's Mandic side by side with his former teammate Wojtek Kulasek. He's gonna try to get past him, but Kulasek thinks better of it and holds 11th.
Yeah, really good defending there from Kulisic as well. But I think Kulisic and Mandic need to work together as well if they want to catch up to the point scoring positions now of the Ferraris now, because they're currently 3 seconds between them. And the reason why there's such a big deficit is because they keep fighting each other per lap, per lap, per lap. If they need to work together and get into that point scoring position, they need to work together and stop fighting.
Yeah. Big shame for Emilia Konechina as well. This is their second DNF in a row. So at both home constructor races, she just hasn't. She's just gotten very unlucky. But yeah, still, one person's sorrow is another one's joy. As you've got the two Ferraris in the points, and you got Emil Nilsson all the way up in fourth.
I mean, that's a really great performance there for the AlphaTauri driver. I don't think he's actually going to be catching up to Alfred Klaus because that Red Bull car is just too powerful. So the fourth is really the best position that he can ask for, really.
I really think if Nilsson...
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, he's very...
He's actually catching up to Johansson.
Oh, that could be very, very interesting. But
in the matter of 2-3 laps, it's now 1.5 seconds between him and Klaus.
Wow, that is interesting. I mean, we did see Paraschke set in the fast lap of the race. I guess Mercedes are open to letting their drivers battle, as there is a battle between Josef Frederik Schuto and Fernando Tost. Schuto, though, goes on to the grass, and that's going to allow Fernando Tost to get past for 15th position, basically fighting for the wooden spoon there. But yeah, Mercedes are open to letting their drivers battle. So I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, with just a little more than half the race to go so far, I think Paritsky will be able to catch up to Johansson if he keeps up the pace like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. And that is Wojtek Kulacek. And that's a massive shame for him. He was running in 11th. Renault have had one car eliminated, and this is into Corentayo, and the car just goes. Same corner as Graf. And Tireshny in qualifying. I don't know what it is, but Kulacek is out. He's locked up or something. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's like gusty bit of wind through that corner.
Wind? Okay.
Yeah, could be.
Alright, sure. But this is going to be very good news for Thomas Mandic as well, because now he's got no one to fight with in front of him now. So that means he can surely push and persevere to try and get to the top 10 positions, especially when I think both Ferraris might still be in a chance with another battle maybe up for cards.
Indeed, this could be very, very interesting, as we have the battle for P14 between Fernando Tost and Josef Frederik Schuto. Schuto's going to go to the inside line of Tost as the two go wheel to wheel. Tost's going to hold it round the outside. He doesn't get the best of exits. Schuto's still going to try to find an opportunity, but he cannot. And thus, the Slovakian will stay in 15th and last position.
Yeah, as well. Tost is just doing all he can to try and maintain the position he has now. Even though he's got really big damage.
Oh no! And that's Enis Paraschke's off at Corentayo. I can't believe it! What has happened? It's another mistake.
What?
It's another lockup into Corentayo. I don't know what's going on. Enis Paraschke is out, and this brings Emil Nilsson into the podium.
Oh my word! Oh my word!
It's not a Mercedes 1-2, and Nilsson into Buccina. That was very, very scary.
No, it's going to be bad news for him, because now he's got McIntyre's now in the DRS, so now he's going to try and make it a move. It was Nilsson's moment to shine, and he might have just blown it now, because now he's going to be under trouble with McIntyre now.
And heading into turn 1, McIntyre's there on the inside line of Emil Nilsson. Nilsson's going to try to hold it off. Hold him off on the outside. He does so and defends the third. What a Tuscan Grand Prix we're having. It's absolute drama. What is going on today?
Paritsky's retirement is going to be a massive blow to Mercedes' Constructors' Challenge now, and it's really bad for the Macedonian as well, because he had all the capabilities of catching up to him, and it's not going too well. So that means Johansson will have a very comfortable lead now, heading into lap 17 out of 33 as Tost now just goes a little bit wide to defend from Sutter as well, which are now fighting for P13. P13.
Really
He's
good
got
news.
6 retirements.
I cannot believe it. I don't know what it is. The drivers just really seem to struggle in that corner. I don't know whether it's I don't know if it's the tire loads or the brake temperatures I don't know what's causing it. Oh no!
Oh, no!
And that's another driver, and that's Farina in the wall. I don't know what is going on. We had Correntaio claim another driver, and this time it's the home hero, Luca Farina, who is out. What is happening? Is it the tire wear? What's going on?
Shades of 2018 Italian Grand Prix now, as we're seeing McIntyre being under challenge from Emmy Nielsen now. They're heading into turn 1 now. He's got the inside line now, but I think Nielsen has just got enough of a gap to try and maintain that position now. But no, he doesn't actually. McIntyre goes down for the inside now. He's got the better exit will allow for Nielsen to just hold on into third.
This just went from a race of strategy to a race of attrition in just a few short laps.
Oh my god, look in the back there.
And there goes Arnold onto Resnia. That's going to be dangerous as they go into this. And it's happened. And Arnold's into the wall.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh.
Oh. And he's going to try to...
He's moving.
Yeah, he's going to try to crawl his way back up the circuit.
Dear.
Oh, Wallace going to...
retire him.
He's going to...
retire him.
And he's out. He is out of the Tuscan Grand Prix.
No, why is he still moving?
He's still going. He's
going.
Oh, he stopped.
Now he's retired.
And he is out. Alexander Arnold is out of the Tuscan Grand Prix. A massive shame.
7 retirements. 7 retirements. And Luca Farina as well. That is amazing as well, because he did really well actually to keep himself out of trouble as well, to get himself all the way up into 7th now and outperform his teammate as well. But to see him retire like that is going to be heartbreaking for the Tifosi.
Indeed. That is absolutely monumental. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Pirelli have got the tire pressure wrong.
Yeah.
Or something is happening. The brakes could be just running at abnormally high temperature. Track temperature could play into this as well. Considering this is the middle of the season, obviously this would be summer temperatures, so it would be very, very hot in Mugello as Sciuto's gonna go to the inside line of Fernando Tost as the two are gonna go side by side. And I think he's gonna try and get it on McLaren, getting into turn 3, and he's done it. Josef Frederik Sciuto, take a bow.
Sciuto's up until 11th, so that means if another person retires, we might see Williams score their first points.
That could be insane, and it would be very, very nice.
What a way to do it as well.
Indeed. Daniel Wallace now in the points, obviously. Currently runs in P9. That will net him 2 points. Victor Albom is in the points as well. So this is going to get very, very interesting. And Emil Nilsson, I can't believe it.
And look at this. 5 seconds between Johansson and Klaus, but 8 seconds between Klaus and Nilsson. That's such a big deficit as well between the top runners and the midfield pack.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Klaus just doesn't have the edge over Jesper Johansson as we look at Fernando Tost still chasing down Josef Frederik Sciuto. This is going to be a massive controversy. Don't really know what is going on, but we've had so many drivers out in these last 5 laps. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really weird because we have not seen anything to this extent from the other series that we've had so far this weekend and Thursday and Friday so far. But yeah, it's really weird here. Then Sciuto just goes ahead and uses the grass, but defends himself from Tost now. A very valuable win in the sprint to be, in fact, because regardless of what you think of this race now, it's a very valuable position now, 11th, considering whatever mishaps may happen up in front now.
Indeed, and here is the battle for 7th between Tomas Mandic and Laban Zasnishkai, obviously fighting for 3rd in the championship, or technically this will be 4th, considering Lewis McIntyre is running in P4 at the moment, so these points are gonna matter.
Yeah, as well, Mandic is doing his best of damage control now, and this is such a performance from him. He's now gained up 10 places now, having started in P18 now, and now he's going to make that 11 position gains now. He's going to make the move on Sanishki as well. Sanishki is the sole Ferrari driver, and meanwhile, Mantic is going to join it with Sesria. If he does, inside line comfortably as you like it, he's up into 7th.
Nice stuff there from Tomas Mandic. Really calm and collected race from the Croatian, and he's brought himself up into P7 with his teammate Kai Cherezny on P6. It's looked to be a very, very strong drive from the 2 racing points so far, as Fernando Tost is trying to get Josef Frederick Schuto into turn 1. Nothing happening just yet, as Tost just isn't close enough, and I think he also does have some damage to his McLaren from that first lap incident that happened. As we look at the battle for the last step of the podium, you've got the man who's already been on the podium this season, Lewis McIntyre, versus the young AlphaTauri driver Emil Nilsson. It's interesting, to say the least. I don't really have many words to describe the situation.
This might be the most exciting podium battle we've had here, because all these are all midfield teams that are looking to cement their place in the podium position, and the chance for vital points now for the midfield battle between all of these teams as well. McLaren, Scuderia AlphaTauri, Racing Point, and Renault, all of them.
Yeah, and these points are going to be absolutely crucial for a lot of these drivers. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what is going to happen, as we only have one, I'd say, properly ongoing battle right now. It's Tost and Schuto going at it for 11th, while it is the last position, obviously. It's still nice to see that these drivers, obviously, still willing to give it their all for every single position. And here goes Fernando Tost on the inside line, heading into San Donato. The 2 will go side by side. Schuto's going to hold it the long way around, but he is on the gravel there. And the 2 will go side by side. Tost around the outside of Schuto does get it done, but Josef with the switchback, he's gonna go side by side with the Polish driver around turn number 4 and into Borgo San Lorenzo. He's gonna have the inside line. The 2 are gonna be side by side. This is a dangerous corner to Casanova, but Schuto, smart stuff, backs out of it.
I was holding my breath there for a minute. Well, that was very close there. Good for Fernando Tost to get up into 11th at least.
Indeed. They're really just going at it for those positions. As look at this, Franco Gamba is now out of the DRS range, and here comes Kai Cherezny round the outside of his former teammate Franco Gamba. As the 2 are going to go side by side, Cherezny around the outside. He goes on the grass though, and that is going to allow Gamba to hold the P5 away from Kai Cherezny for the time being.
Very interesting thing to note as well, McIntyre has actually been out of DRS range from Emmy Nielsen as well. So as it stands out, Emmy Nielsen will currently hold on to 3rd place.
That is absolutely insane. Nielsen.
And you know what else is absolutely insane? 10 seconds between Klaus and Nielsen. 10 seconds.
Wow, well, I mean, to be fair, that is quite expected, considering that Klaus is in a far better car, but nonetheless, it is a very, very big gap at the moment, as we're currently looking at the smallest gap in the field, or the second smallest, I'd say. Gamba versus Cherezny for P5 at the moment. Kai is going to have a very, very good run heading down the start-finish straight.
You can see in the background as well, Mandic as well, who's close up it was 3 seconds, now it's down to 2.5 seconds now. So if this keeps up, Mandic might also be in the challenge for this little pack right here in front.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting as Cherezny goes to the outside line. He's going to switch to the inside, sells the dummy on Franco Gamba. He's there on the inside. Franco runs wide. Kai's going to take the advantage heading into turn number 2, and he does it. Beautifully done by Kai Cherezny, and up into 5th goes the Polish driver in the Racing Point.
Pure redemption for Kai Cherezny now. He's done really well to cement himself into 5th position as well, and he's currently increasing on pace now, so he'll be catching up into McIntyre very soon, who has not actually catch up to Emmy Nielsen. In fact, he's actually slowing down, so we'll see that battle come up into fruition later on. Meanwhile, to Fernando Tost as well. They're still fighting for P11 as well. Suto tries to go down the inside of Tost. The Polish driver goes a bit wide, and he actually keeps it on track and maintains 11th.
Yeah, nice little battle there between the two. Franco Gamba, though, will be wanting to chase down
Oh,
Ceresna. Yeah, that was very, very scary. Into Correntalia, which has claimed so many drivers already. Bit of a quick correction by Franco Gamba through there.
I think the important thing to notice as well is that the tire wear is degrading pretty fast. So we might even see even maybe more tire minutes around that corner because it requires a lot of steering precision. And if you lose grip in that corner, then it's very hard to correct yourself as well. And you might see yourself in the gravel, as we've seen with other drivers here.
Indeed, as we head through turn 1, Gamba is still close on the back of Cheresnia, who is outside of DRS of the DRS zone. So Gamba could have a very good opportunity at trying to bounce back and retake the P5 from Cheresnia.
Interesting thing to note as well, Mandic is actually nearly caught up. He's actually nearly in the DRS range of P6, Gamba, and Cheresnia as well. So don't count him out as well to join in that midst of the battle there. Suto and Tosh will go at it once again. Is he going to try and look for the inside line? He doesn't see it as much, and Fernando Tosh will remain in P11.
It's a very
There's
it's a very unlikely battle of Williams going up against McLaren, but it's a nice battle. They've been going at it for these past few laps, and Shuto has been trying every single opportunity that's been thrown at him. And I
don't want to downplay Suto, but you do need to take into account that Toss did suffer major aerodynamic damage from the first lap collision.
Indeed. But he did collide with Shuto as well, so Shuto does have damage.
It was Sassetti I think he collided with.
It could have been. Either way, we'll get to know that after the race. As we head into turn number 1, Franco Gamba, 5/10 separate him and Cheresnia, who has gotten within DRS range of Lewis McIntyre. So this could be very, very interesting.
Absolutely as well. We see at the back here, so Suto will try once again go for another move on Fernando Tost as well. These ones have been... This has just been an amazing battle here now. They've just been constantly battling out for P11, which could be the final straw for the points finish position. We've got a fine few amount of laps left to go. There's still a chance for retirement on the cards here in the top 10. And if one of them retires, this could be a battle for final position that we're talking about here.
Indeed, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this will play out.
You can see now that Gamba's now going to be under threat from Mandic now heading up into this corner here. Cheresnia is not quite close enough to McIntyre, which is now 3 seconds between him and Nielsen now.
Nielsen is really, this is the race of his life. He's a man on, and he's gonna, I have to say, it's just a really, really brilliant performance from the young Estonian. But he's gonna have the DRS now, and he is gonna head down into turn number 1.
But there's 2 battles right here in front of us now, McIntyre, Cheresnia, and Gamba and Mandic now. We'll see how it turns out now. They head into the first quarter with no podium position changes at the moment here at lap 27 out of 33.
Yeah, it's right now I think everyone is just more in the strategizing phase of trying to close in on the drivers and trying to manage your tires to the end, because tire wear is probably hitting a lot of these guys now. But yeah, this battle for P4 very, very close. You got McIntyre, Cheresnia, Gamba, and Mandic all involved in this battle.
I like how more relaxed this commentary has become after the carnage we've seen in the middle of the race.
Indeed. There's not a lot of action going on at the moment, but I definitely do think it's going to kickstart in these. It's going to be again in these following few laps, especially with a battle like this on our hands. You can see how close everyone is at the moment.
Yeah, if this keeps out, I think Sachinitsky will also try and maybe join in for this battle as well. He's still a bit far off, but I think if they go into the battling stage between each other, it'll happen sooner rather than later. As we hear enter 28 out of 33 now, Is anyone maybe any close enough to come into battles with? I don't think Teresnia will be close enough to McIntyre though. I think Madic might be just a bit close enough to Gamba to make a move. Ooh, Teresnia tries to look down the inside of McIntyre, but to no avail.
Yeah, I think Mandic ran a bit wide as well into Resnia, not close enough into turn 1, so he's going to have to get a bit closer next time around. We'll see if he's going to be able to try anything, but he's just going to have to hope that Lewis's pace does diminish a bit more, or that he possibly even does force him into a mistake.
McIntyre is actually catching up a bit to Emmy Nielsen, I think.
Yeah, he is. He's closing in a bit. Look at that. He gained 2/10 through the two Arabiatas. I think the tire wear might be starting to hit for Emil Nilsson.
Yeah, we see Gamba just going just a little bit wide there. I think that was for turn 13, I believe it was. But yeah, I agree. I think Nielsen, has pushed so much that he has got no choice but to be conservative now. And it might be kind of really hammering blows for him, maybe, because he's got about 3 laps or so to defend that position from McIntyre, who has pretty much been conservating for this entire race. But he was defending aggressively from Teresnia now, and he's got a bit of breather room now because Teresnia is not even close enough to attack for his position.
Indeed, we'll see if he's going to be able to get close enough into turn 1. No, he's going to have to stay behind McIntyre for the time being. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, look, that's such a close now. It's like 5/10. About 5/10. Yeah, quicker.
Yeah, that's interesting. This battle for P4 could become a battle for P3 very soon. And things are going to get exciting, ladies and gentlemen. So do not go anywhere for these final 4 laps, because we are going to have quite the thriller. We're going to have, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 teams fighting it out for the podium here at Tuscany.
Different chassis, different engines, different drivers, different nationalities, all of them competing for this P3 spot. What a better way to behold and sight than this position here in the Tuscan Grand Prix.
Indeed, could not have said it better myself, as McIntyre heads through the dreaded turn number 12, chasing down Nilsson, and that gap has dropped below a second, so I don't know what's happening with Emil, but things aren't looking too good for him, as I think McIntyre, who's been, conserving his tires a bit more for a scenario specifically like this, could now start to kick it into gear and challenge for his second podium. This is going to get very exciting, as he does have the DRS into turn 1. You can see how close he is now into turn 1, and Nilsson will feel the Brit breathing down his neck.
Yeah, absolutely, as well. You can see Manjas as well breathing through the down of the Italian's neck as well, and Teresnia is kind of being a bit left out now, since McIntyre is now putting the pedal to the floor now and trying to make the move for Nielsen. He's now all over the back of him heading to Sector 1 now.
It is going to get really, really exciting. I am sure of it, as we head through Casanova and Savelli. Nilsson will hold on to third for probably the rest of the lap. It is turn 1 where McIntyre will have the greatest shot at trying it, and you can just see how absolutely close he is through these corners. It's insane.
It is amazing now. What became the McIntyre train has now become the Emmy Nielsen train now, all for P3 now, here right before our very eyes now. There's about 3 laps left to go now. I think that was someone going wide. I think that was Gamba going wide, and Manage trying to have a look inside, and that's kind of split them off in the group.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting. Mandic gets a good run on Franco Gamba. He's going to go down the inside into... Nah, he has a... but he isn't close enough. Now then.
Here we go.
Now then, Mr. McIntyre, what can you do? Heading into turn number 1, down the start, finish straight. He's going to have the DRS engaged. He goes to the outside. Is he going to sell the dummy on him? No. He sticks to the outside line. Nilsson's going to be there on the inside line. The young Estonian now has to defend, but McIntyre round the outside goes on to the gravel. Nilsson's going to try to hold the outside line. This is for P3 as we head into turn number 3 there. McIntyre gets the better exit compared to Emil Nilsson, and he is ahead.
Teresnia in the back trying to make it look for P4 as well, but I think Nielsen will just defend enough to maintain a valuable P4 for him at the minute. But meanwhile in the back you can see Gamba trying to make a move on Teresnia now, and Teresnia goes wide, Teresnia into the grass, they'll allow Mandic into 6th.
And that's gone That's gone terribly wrong for Kai Chereznia. Gamba and Mandich through P5 and P6. And that's Alfred Klaus!
What a
Bull are gonna come home empty-handed. I cannot believe it. Lewis McIntyre will be second, and Emil Nilsson will at least hold on to his podium. What on earth is going on? Oh, that is a fatal error for Alfred Klaus, and Red Bull are gonna come home here at Tuscany with 0 points.
All positions are out here to play for now because Nielsen is still struggling just a bit, and now he's got Gamba on his books now to worry about as well. Mandich on the meanwhile, starting in P18, has moved up fantastically up into P5. Maybe he can might chance for his third podium finish maybe here this series. We'll see, and it's all here to play for. And that will make Assetto, I think, is that Tost?
Tost is in the points. Yeah, Tost is in the points.
Yeah.
But that is an absolute heartbreak for Alfred Klaus. Double DNF for Red Bull. Dennis Graf, who hasn't had a single DNF this season. Unfortunately, that is gone for him. And it's an absolute shame as well. But Jesper Johansson, he will feel such a relief and only has to bring it home now for this final lap. He's got a 26-second gap on the rest of the field, and it's
Please
just gonna...
Please don't jinx it.
Yeah, no, okay, I won't say anything. But, oh, that is...
We've seen it in the Spanish Grand Prix as well, and with the tyres being degraded so much, he really needs to bring it home, but he needs to be delicate in terms of his racing as well. Nielsen knows this for sure. That's why he's being so conservative as well, because he doesn't want to make a mistake, because these are valuable points here for the Scuderia AlphaTauri team.
Yeah, it's one final lap for Jesper Johansson at the Tuscan Grand Prix. Just needs to bring it home now. And
look at this, Znichka as well has joined in the fight for P3 now as well. Look at this.
It's good. This is gonna get properly insane. Nilsson, I don't think he's gonna be able to try it. He's gonna come under pressure from Franco Gamba, who's gonna try to take his second podium in Formula 1 away from the young Estonian. But Lewis McIntyre, I think he's gonna yeah, he's gonna go into turn 1. Gamba not close enough. Heading into turn 1, I think it might be Nilsson's podium for the taking, but I'm not gonna say anything yet. It's not over until it is over, as we've seen many times in the ACOC. It's getting very interesting. But Gamba, he's not got a very good run. Here comes Thomas Mandich, who was all over the back of the Renault, but he just couldn't get ahead. And now this is going to cause a bit of a domino effect. Here, there's Kai Chereznia. Chereznia going wheel to wheel, and big contact. Chereznia is round. Oh, he's held it.
And he's spun off, and he's
held it. No, he's into the gravel. He's not held it. He's
retired. Was that not to get to the points? Oh, he's moving.
He's going. He's going. He's going. He's going. That was a roller coaster and a half. But Chereznia is off. But all his rivals have faltered today. He's driven absolutely spotlessly. Jesper Johansson wins the Tuscan Grand Prix and coming home in a brilliant second for McLaren. We're just gonna wait as we're gonna head through the final corners. Coming home for his second podium in Formula 1, his second for McLaren. Lewis McIntyre will finish second on the podium, and third is gonna be the young Estonian taking the podium for AlphaTauri. Emil Nilsson finishes third. Take a bow. What a crazy end to the Tuscan Grand Prix.
Chereznia was very lucky to keep that car running and not have a retirement as well. He can be a bit disappointed with 7th though, but that is better than scoring no points at all though. Racing Point has got double points finish, which helps them in the constructors as well. Vale for Alfa Romeo finishes in 8th, followed by Albon. Haas scores 9th amazingly, and Fernando Tost, despite fight all the way for Sutu, which seemed to be a possibility after having a first lap collision with Sassetti, now finishes in 10th and scores 1 point for McLaren.
Absolute insanity. Wow, that was just an upside down race, really. But Jesper Johansson takes a dominant win. He really just didn't place a foot wrong this race, and he drove a fantastic, I have to say, just drove absolutely fantastically. And Lewis McIntyre, second podium for the Brit in Formula 1 P2. That's going to be really good points for McLaren here. And then Emil Nilsson finishes third. His first podium in Formula 1 for AlphaTauri. That is insane. And just congratulations to Nilsson. Franco Gamba finishes a very good fourth with Tomas Mandic in P5, and then Laban Sasnishka just got the P6 as Kai Shrezhnia with a last lap error finishes in 7th. Daniel Wale 8th. That's going to be very important points for Alfa Romeo with Victor Albom in the points as well in P9, and Fernando Tost just snatches 1 point away.
Yeah, disappointments there for Suter for the Williams driver. Had a chance to score points for the Williams driver. Unfortunately, he comes off empty-handed, but very impressive with the 11th place, having fighting off Fernando Tost. He finishes in 11th. Your DNFs are Alfred Klaus, who has crashed off in 2nd place. Alexander Arnold, very disappointing there for the Scuderia AlphaTauri driver. Luca Farina, after having catched up to past his teammate, he's disappointed with the 14th retirement. Enes Parachki, that came out of nowhere for him, for the Macedonian driver, and kind of blew Mercedes' plan for the constructor fight. Now, Kulisic can be disappointed with Renault because that was their strongest race this season so far in looking at the qualifying sessions. Dennis Graf, the championship leader, making a mistake-prone error. That was really unfortunate for him and for Red Bull as well, as they come off empty-handed. Kuznickia for the Polish driver, the female Polish driver, that's her 2nd DNF in the Italian Grand Prix so far. And Sassetti comes off the worst after a collision in an overtake, and Jafari Blackwood has retired as well on the first lap collision.
Just a lot of DNFs. It's going to be a lot of drama heading. But the championship lead has come down to 5 points between Dennis Graf and Jesper Johansson. Yeah, but that has been it. Before we go, though, let's give out driver of the day, a very, very important question. And honestly, I'm going to give it to Emil Nilsson. Just a phenomenal race from the young Estonian, and he's done so incredibly well, making so many overtakes. He couldn't hold off McIntyre, who also really, I'd say, is up there. But yeah, really well done from Emil Nilsson, and he gets my driver of the day. I have to say, this man is most likely a future world champion.
Yeah, I mean, that was an amazing performance from him. I mean, you have to see it to believe it, really, when you say that the AlphaTauri driver manages to score 3rd as well. And we felt that the Malaysian Grand Prix performance that we saw for him was like the best performance ever. But no, this is probably his best performance ever for the team as well. And it's good for AlphaTauri as well, because they brought in a strong car here from Mugello as well. So the team and him can be proud for that. I think I'll give it to Thomas Mandic. I think he started poorly from qualifying, starting in P18 and being mistake free and just making others retire, and good overtakes as well, and good performance as well, has gotten up into the position where he is. And I think if it had been a couple more laps further in, I think he would have made his best chances to get into the podium. But he can be very proud for that, for the Croatian driver. He did his damage control, and I think that was the best result he can ask for, really. And it helps him to keep his fight on with Lewis McIntyre for the drivers.
Indeed, and yeah, so an exciting Tuscan Grand Prix comes to an end. What a race of ups and downs. Really, it's just been absolutely fantastic. And yeah, not done with the ACOC this weekend, though. Tomorrow, make sure to not miss the Super Formula race at Sepang, as the Super Formula season will continue as well. Next week, we will have the Formula 1 French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard with Formula 2 and Porsche Super Cup there as well. So all 4 tiers will be on next weekend as well. But until then, I have been Miran.
And I've been Jamie.
Thank you so much for watching. The ACOC will return on Sunday for Super Formula. Thank you and